Okay, Carl, I guess I'll put up the first slide. Okay, you gonna go full screen?
The slideshow on.
All right. Okay, just a little bit of, again, if you have a question or anything, don't just jump in, raise your hand to ask a question, and either Steve or I'll recognize you, and we'll see, it comes in order of who raises their hand first. So let's get started with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I really don't have much in the way of announcements today. This is our second meeting, and last week we had 55. We're up to 46 now, so hopefully we'll increase our attendance in the future meetings. We're going to have a board meeting today at 1 o'clock, so everybody will have a chance to either grab a bite to eat and then come back on at 1. And we're going to be discussing dues for the remainder of this year and for next year. The activities moving forward, but Larry's going to give us, since he's not able to make the board meeting, he's going to give a presentation on the activities later. We'll have a financial report and projection, crystal ball gazing through the end of this year and next year. We don't know what's happening with the Fish Church regarding the, meeting requirements with the COVID situation. I noticed various churches and groups are changing their policies weekly. So, as things move on, we may end up a little better news moving forward, but we'll at least keep thinking about what's going to happen. Our volunteer recognition awards for this year, and then the nomination of officers form the committee, and Bob Loop is we'll probably give a little report on that. And we're going to discuss, which is not on the list, general discussion regarding membership and moving forward. Today was supposed to be our picnic, so I hope everybody's enjoying the picnic so far. And as normal, the mayor does a presentation at our picnic each year, and Mayor Martin is not going to get a free hot dog this year, but or hamburger, but he's going to do his presentation, and that should be interesting with everything that's been going on with the city between COVID and peaceful protests, thank God, and whatever else. And then he'll have a question period afterwards. And a little through the ground rules. Everybody's going to be on mute while the mayor speaks, and then the Q&A period. Again, you have a blue hand in Zoom hand, and you'll be recognized in the order that you raise your hand. And again, once you have the floor, you ask your question. And if you have a second question, don't just jump in again, speaking, put your hand up again, which is effectively moving to the end of the line. Okay, and so that'll be some of the ground rules. And just before we go, somebody's on just with a phone number 348-3870.
John Zielinski.
John Zielinski. John, I'm going to, I think I can rename you.
Rename me? I don't want to change my name. Just a question, Joe. You mentioned about asking questions to the mayor, and you raise your hand. I'm calling in by telephone. How do I ask the mayor a question?
Steve? Can you answer that?
Good question. I don't know.
That's a good question. We're going to have to unmute you, and hopefully you'll just take a moment when there's a break in between people and say, I have a question.
Okay, you don't have to mute me. I'll mute myself, and when it's time to ask a question, I'll unmute myself. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Hope
John,
everybody
all right.
is well and stay healthy. Thank you.
Okay, you're now identified as John Zielinski and not a telephone number.
Say, Steve, this is Carl. Do you have your whiteboard on? We've got that yellow scribble, at least on my screen. It's probably on everybody's screen.
Yes, it's everyone.
Is that you, Steve?
Whatever it is, it's we can live with it. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, again, our mayor this week. Next week, we're going to have Kevin Gutzman. We were trying to schedule him in the last year and all, and he had conflicts, but because of the pandemic, some of those conflicts have resolved themselves. So he's going to be talking about Thomas Jefferson, a revolutionary, a radical struggle to remake America. I guess everybody's trying to remake America even 200 plus years ago. So it should be interesting. It came highly recommended from the other local senior groups. I say we meet twice a year and exchange our best speakers. So he does come highly recommended. On October 1st, Granville Burgess, who's an author, and he's going to be bringing up Shoeless Joe Jackson from the famous, infamous Chicago Black Sox scandal, and just in time for the opening of the baseball Major League playoffs. Then Dr. Robert Shapiro, PhD, on the arithmetic of the 2020 presidential election. So that's the next few speakers lined up. Ira.
Morning, everyone. I trust you've all received the minutes of last week's meeting. If there are no corrections or additions, I'm going to ask our acting president, Joe, to cast one vote for everybody to accept the minutes as presented.
Oh, only one vote, or I got to vote for, say yes 51 times. I have not heard any corrections required, so yes, they're approved. Thank you, Ira.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, the 9/20 discussion groups. September 24th, Joe D will be talking about investments. October 1st, that is going to move to an earlier start, 9 o'clock. Lori Price will be back with us speaking on finance. On October 8th, Art Feldman will lead a discussion on intersectionality doctrine and elections. Art will have to explain what intersectionality doctrine is, but I'm sure he will. October 5th, newlywed Bob Butke will be back talking about technology. And on October 22nd, Joe D will be back talking about current events. And I'm sure one of the current events will be the a week or 10 days prior to the election. So there'll be probably a lot of discussion about that as well. And mail-in voting and how that's progressing. Okay, next slide, please. October 5th, the fall golf outing is an ongoing event. Brian, do you want to speak to it? Are you on, Brian?
We're shooting, Howie and I are now shooting for 28 golfers. We have 27, we're looking for 28th. And for those 5 or 6 of you who have not paid, please get your money in soon. That's it.
Okay, and as I indicated in an email to somebody, although there is no luncheon scheduled, you are free to have lunch as you see fit, either at the golf course or outside to, it's your own judgment as to how you want to do it. Next slide, please. The tennis tournament has been canceled due to the fact that we do not have enough players. And that's too bad. Apparently, either guys getting a little older and afraid to get back on the tennis court, or just have been not active in participating and signing up. So we've had to cancel that, unfortunately. I was looking forward to it, as were several other people that I know, but so be it. And hopefully next year people will get back in better shape and we can move forward with having it again. Next slide. Before that, I just wanted to talk about future events. Obviously, it's not really possible to plan anything, trips of that nature, because of the fact that there are limitations as to how many people you can have, either on indoor events, which are, I believe, 25 max, or outdoor events where you can have 100. But obviously in our age group, we are considered to be the at-risk population if you get the infection. However, one of the thoughts I did have that would allow people to get together in person is to have a walk someplace whereby we can maintain somewhat of a social distance and also wear masks and not become too closely in contact if we don't want to. It would have to be someplace local, and it would have to be someplace where everybody could park and drive individually. So if anybody would like to think of a place and say, this is a good idea, please send me an email, and we can move forward at working it before it gets too cold. I think the weather is appropriate for a nice walk. Obviously, a place like the Cove, if we could get the appropriate parking situation resolved, would work. But I'm open to ideas, so anybody feel free to express an idea. And if they have any other ideas for an event where we could actually mingle with one another safely, with keeping it outdoors, please let me know.
After October 1st, Larry, there should be no problem parking
Okay,
because it ends on the the end of September.
okay, well then, the weather is still nice. That might be a good place to do it if anybody wants to, if we can get a number of people to participate and somebody wants to chair the event, please get back to me by email. That's it for now, and I turn the program over to Carl, who has got the next slide.
Thank you, Larry. Our regular membership dropped by one this past week.
Good
Niels
morning, Super. How are you?
Voth Erickson has moved to
Okay, I'm
Cheshire,
on a Zoom
Connecticut,
meeting. Hold on,
and
let me get out of here.
will no longer be participating in our, as an active member. The new membership is unchanged at 8. And I'm interested, are there any guests or visitors who would like to identify themselves at this time? Okay, if there are none, or if people join later on, Steve, maybe you can keep track of the people you've admitted somehow and send me their names and emails so I can contact them with more information on SMAS. Thank you. I'll move on to the next slide.
Bill, you're up.
Hi, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. Does anybody have news they'd like to share? No news could be good news. I haven't heard anything since the magnificent wedding of Bob Ludke. So I guess I have nothing to report.
If anybody has any news, please raise your hand and be recognized. Okay, well, hopefully, like you say, no news is good news.
Okay. We had a very good discussion about ghost soldiers yesterday. It was a fascinating story of a rescue in January of '45 on the Philippines of prisoners who were at the end of the rope, very, very weak, but about 500 of them were saved by a group of 100. And our next book is a huge one, Undaunted Courage, about the Louisiana Purchase, but I'm going to try to edit it down because it's 500 pages. And we're slated now for October 28th for that book discussion, October 28th. So that's it.
Is Larry here? I just want to mention the author of Undaunted, Stephen Ambrose, is a very famous historian, and he, along with Tom Brokaw and Tom Hanks, are the people responsible for the World War II Museum, historical museums. It's actually a fascinating place, and it's now been upgraded to 3 buildings. It's a really great place. If you're ever in New Orleans, I should say, it's a must. So just want to mention that.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any, before we get into jokes, do we have any items for discussion? Raise your hand, please.
Yeah, I have, I don't have the raise the hand on my iPad. And on my computer, I probably got a Windows update, and now I can't get on Zoom on my my computer. And it says Windows Win SXS -x86 Microsoft blah 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 is either not designed to run on Windows or it contains an error. Does anybody know how to fix that?
Did you reboot?
I have not rebooted the entire computer because I didn't have enough time
Reboot the whole
before the
machine.
meeting.
You should reboot.
Okay, thank you.
You have the latest version of Zoom.
I believe so. I just, click on your invitation.
Yeah, but you might have had to download a new version of Zoom.
Okay,
I believe it's got to be 5 something, version 5 point something.
okay,
They made some changes.
I see. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion items? Okay. I got a message from Alan. Alan would like to tell a joke.
Okay,
Alan Jaffe.
all right. A rabbi walks into a bar with a parrot on his shoulder. And the bartender said, where'd you get that? And the parrot said, oh, they're all over Brooklyn.
Good one.
Yeah, I think you got to explain that.
I have to
Oh, the
explain.
rabbi.
Alan, that's excellent.
The parrot thought the bartender was talking to him. So he said, oh, they're all over Brooklyn, the rabbis. So, anyway, it's not
Okay,
funny
any
if I have to
other-
explain it.
Any other jokes?
Didn't have to explain them.
I have a pun if that qualifies as a joke.
Certainly.
Okay, I've during the COVID-19 quarantine, I've been working on my puns, and I wrote 10 puns, and I entered them in a contest to see if any of the puns would win. None of the puns did. No puns.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
I told that one before.
I'm gonna leave the jokes to Alan.
Good idea.
I told that one a couple of years ago.
Okay. We had a very short meeting today, so we've got some time to Roman.
Joe, I wonder if I can show a short video advertising or promoting open house